Yeah, hello, Paolo. Can you hear me, Pao? Hello, Pao. Can you hear me? Hello, check. Mic check. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Okay, guys. So, for our next session, thank you so much for tuning in. We have Paolo Espiritu. We'll talk about augmented reality and the future of learning. And we will start in a few minutes. We'll just wait for the rest of the guys who registered to this event to tune in. Okay, let's give it a few minutes. We will start at 7:10 p.m. And again, we will talk about augmented reality and the future of learning. And also, Paulo Espiritu will share to us their amazing project, which is from Haraya Learning Innovation. Sorry about that. Haraya Learning Innovations. It's a really interesting application, and Paulo will talk about that in a bit. Okay, so for those who are tuned in, just make sure you leave your questions in the comment section, and we will answer them at the end of the talk.
I hope you can hear me now. I changed something.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Paul. There. So can you share your screen as well, Paul, for the listeners here? And for the guys who are listening now, you can actually, if you can also do us a favor, you can do uh, how do you call this on Facebook? Watch party. So with the groups that you're in, so that other people can also watch this live stream with Paolo on augmented reality. Okay, we'll just wait for a few guys to join. But for now, if you have any question about the topic to be discussed tonight, you can just leave your questions in the comment section. Okay, so now we have 23 guys who's viewing us on Facebook, both Facebook and YouTube. And again, if you have any question, you can just use the comment section. And if you want to get the session packs at the end of this talk, you can just click the link provided on the description of the video, and we will send to you the session packs probably by Monday.
Screen sharing.
Yeah, so I can see your screen now, Pao. Thank you so much for
All right.
that. Okay.
I'll stop the share.
Okay. Okay, guys. So, hello, guys, again, and good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in to Tech PH's. This is the fifth online Saturday session on new and emerging technologies. I am Luis Barring, your host, and today we are joined by Paulo Espiritu. Paulo is the founder of Araya Learning Innovations, and he will talk about augmented reality and the future of learning. And additionally, if you have any question again, just kindly leave your questions in the comment section, and just don't forget to register to the link in the video description to get the session pack by Monday. And also, I would like to invite everyone to our next sessions on June. So for June, we have design and development. So on June 6th, all for June 6th, design and engineering team culture at UX Society with Harvey J. Season, and introduction to product design with Piers Sonoda, and UX fundamentals with Rain Liao. So for all the product designers, product managers, and UX practitioners out there, this is a good opportunity to hear it from the professionals. All right. And in the future sessions, we will also have introduction to progressive web apps, developing for Android and iOS with Flutter, Android native development, iOS native development, and introduction to game design and game development. And I think we will also have a session for VR game design. Uh, yep. Okay. And if you know anyone who would like to start a career in IT, just make sure to scan the QR code you're seeing on your screen, and you can also apply for that job as well, or you can refer your friends and get up to 3,000 pesos. And if you want to learn Salesforce, you can sign up to our Fundamentals of Salesforce for Software Developers. It's a free hour course which will start on June and limited slots only. Kindly sign up as early as today. All right. Okay, so tonight we have again Paolo Espiritu of Raya Learning Innovation, and we'll talk about augmented reality and the future of learning. Hi, Pao. How are you today? Oh, tonight.
Hi, Luis. Doing good. Doing good.
Uh,
Just finished my classes today.
Finishing your class? You have a class today?
Yes, we had classes earlier, so yeah, keep on learning.
Yeah, keep on learning. Yeah, that's the motto of techph.org. And thank you so much, Paolo, for taking the time and the effort to share your knowledge and expertise and experience in AR. And we will talk about that later. But for now, I'll give the floor to Paolo to talk about augmented reality and the future of learning. So, Pao, you can share your
Yeah.
screen now.
Okay. So yeah, uh, I'll first show uh, the promotional video. Tapos I can talk more about once I've shown it. So yeah.
Yeah, and maybe later you can play some tunes on your sax as well.
Share screen. Okay. So yeah.
Okay, guys. So for our next session.
Right. Hello, Luis.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that video.
Sige. Okay. Let me just So let me introduce Haraya. What we do. Tsaka
Mm-hmm.
what we aim to do. So Haraya Learning Innovations is a learning science laboratory that studies how the human mind processes new information. And we at Haraya, we leverage emerging technologies to, given this new understanding of how people learn, we hack learning. Kumbaga. And this is our approach to things. And the title of this talk tonight is AR, or augmented reality, and the future of learning. And AR is just one of the many tools that we can use, that we need to leverage to move education forward, to move learning forward. And yeah, thank you for having me again here tonight, Luis. Let's talk. Right.
Yeah, it's our pleasure, Paul. Thank you so much for taking the time as well.
Okay. And sige, how do we go about this? Do you have questions?
Okay, so we will ask our viewers to set the questions at the end of the presentation,
Hmm.
so that we can answer it in bulk. And maybe for the questions that we won't be able to answer tonight, we'll just probably send you answer your questions through email or through our Facebook page.
Sige. Thanks for that. All right, sige. Let me uh, give this, let me share with you. So I gave you the description of Haraya as a company, as an organization. And to be honest, I didn't prepare any slides right now. I'm just going to free flow this. And let's talk about let's talk about the where we are now. Kasi in looking towards the future, uh, how do we how do we formulate the future of learning? We need to be acquainted of the situation right now in terms of the challenges, the needs, and the overall context of learning here in the Philippines specifically. And yeah, I've already shared the company profile of Haraya, and technology is just a tool for learning. And given our current problems in education right now, what technologies do we need, and what technologies are lacking? And this is where we put our projects into right now. And augmented reality is just one of them. And uh, sige, to better share with you why augmented reality is one feasible technology right now for the future of learning. It started way back in 2016. So I just came fresh from a master's course. That's when I came back here in the Philippines. Uh, I wanted to work on edtech. So that's exactly what we did. A couple of friends of mine, Ace, Pasi, and I, we met up at a local hackathon on virtual reality. And doon kami nabuo. Alright, doon kami nabuo. And over the past years, we've been exploring uh, the the uh, applications that we can create for the Philippine ecosystem using virtual reality. And ang dami naming opportunities na nakikita. Kasi nga, we're a developing country. We have limitation in terms of infrastructure, in terms of resources. Right now, I'm having internet problems kanina. Slow internet, namamatay yung power. So all of these things fit into the context of the Philippine learning ecosystem. And yun, over the past years, we've been studying that the trends in technological development, advancement in software and hardware, and uh, the thing that we've locked onto is education. It's the one thing that we want to solve using AR. So that's where we started, and that's our main platform right now, Harai Labs. The video I've just showed you, uh, it features yung augmented reality simulations of experiments, and the rationale for that is again, kulang yung resources here in the Philippines. It was reported that only 1 out of 10 Philippine schools have uh, science and computer laboratories. So you can imagine a uh, a sophisticated subject such as science and technology. Supposedly, these are uh, experiential subjects. Pero since we have limited tools for students to get their hands on, we've been behind in terms of learning when it comes to education technology. And another report in the past few years, especially in the IT sector naman, it was reported that, if I'm not mistaken with the number, 52% of our IT graduates cannot be hired for programming work. And you can see the challenges here. I can only infer kung saan sila where the challenge there is. Pero I'd bet on one is infrastructure and overall access to materials. And going back to the now, so that was a few years ago, 2016, when we started Raya. In the context now, we can see uh, the big impact this has uh, on our education system. So the hot debate right now for learning is it whether to go face to face or to go online. This is the it's very controversial right now. Schools can't make up their minds on it, and rightfully so. Kasi there are a lot of constraints that we need to think about. And going back to the signals that we've seen a few years ago, na kulang nga yung equipment, the tools that teachers and students have. Right now, it's hitting us like a tsunami wave. Kasi nga, we're not prepared for it. We're caught in this scenario where we have no choice. We have very few options left kasi we failed to address that early on. Kumbaga, this itong COVID-19 na to, it's like it's what futurists calls a wild card. And the best way to put that is parang nasa class ka and di ka pa tapos sa sa quiz mo, pero hinihingi na ng prof mo yung teacher yung papers. So finished or not finished, pass your papers. And right now, we're caught in a situation where ayun nga, we're severely lacking in know-how. Okay, that's the situation now. Again, maraming constraints, and everyone really is still keeping up with the developments, the decisions from government officials, as well as innovations in learning technologies right now. And the good thing right now is there are discussions on what kind of the structure that we need to have in the future in the next few months. And it's good to have these kinds of discussions. And going to Haraya, we've on top of building AR platforms, we're also exploring the democratization of it all. Kasi nga, it's just for AR, the low-lying fruit for AR is accessibility. So more students can have access to experiments that they normally wouldn't have access to. Kasi nga, they just need a smartphone to run these experiments. That's one, accessibility. Pero we also have to think about the learning objectives, the learning goals, and I think this should be given much more thought than kung ano yung devices yung gagamitin and so on. And ano nga, let me share you a video. Ay, sige, Luis, are you about to say something?
Yeah. So it's good that you mentioned about because the what we're seeing now is that a lot of schools are actually holding back on resuming, and I think it makes sense. And the government mandate as well is not to resume school anytime soon. And there's a lot of opportunities for us to allow children to continue on learning, without being on a physical educational facility. And as you mentioned earlier, it's not well, not everyone has access to good internet connection, which is one. So online classes is not suitable for everyone. And I think um, from what I've heard from a lot of parents, online classes are a bit well, they're very expensive, and not everyone can afford that. And it's good that the project really focuses on, as you mentioned earlier, you coined the words democratizing education, which
Mhm.
the primary objective is to allow especially children access uh, learning tools without um, without the cost that would usually uh, follow this kind of technology.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you're about to also share what what Haraya Labs is all about.
Uh, right. I was about to show another video of Harai Labs,
Yep.
and so yeah, I'll go ahead show it. Uh, this still a work in progress. So it ties up with Harai Labs,
Okay.
and okay, there. So yeah. Hi. So yeah. So yeah, what I've just showed you is the parang extension of Harai Labs. Harai Labs kasi started with the STEM fields, so science, technology, engineering, and math. And lately, we've begun to expand our offering in terms of learning technologies to all other kinds of skills and competencies. And you can see here, music, sports, tsaka cooking. These are all what you call non-academic uh, specializations or skills. And what we're doing right now, so these are all available in virtual reality and hopefully can run also in augmented reality. But the goal here is to expand uh, expand the experiential learning that kids can have access to uh, from home and using just the device available to them. So these are VR platforms, and you can see that again there's the accessibility aspect to it, in where, for example, drums or drums, uh, music instruments. More students can have access to trying these musical instruments and getting to learn them. At the same time, we create learning tools for them to learn faster and more effectively. Again, using education technology. Uh, so again, in the context of right now, these are some of the products we're building to uh, more or less decentralize the concept of schools. That's a big word, but uh, we want kids right now, whether they're at home or at school, to learn anything. So that's the promise of these immersive technologies. Right. Sige. I've been talking a lot about the low-lying fruit, which is accessibility and learning technologies for learning technologies. Uh, One more pillar or core uh, uh, value proposition, I might say, that Harai wants to bring to the world right now is the not just with learning technologies, but also in frameworks. So, what is the framework of the future of learning? So, let's take a quick futures thinking exercise here. Uh, let's take a moment and let's try to forget what we've experienced when we grew up for learning. Let's try to forget the schools before, and let's take a time to visualize what the future of schools look like. And this is a thought experiment, and you can see the out of this activity we can derive our hopes and dreams for the future in terms of learning. And one of our hopes, at least at Haraya, is that all students can learn on their own. So that's called self-directed learning. We want to empower students to learn on their own uh, without the active intervention of others. And this is uh, you can call it the holy grail of learning, where uh, we all know the quote that if you give a man a fish, he will eat for a day. But if you teach a man uh, how to fish, then he'll eat for a lifetime. So that's a common saying. At Haraya, we take that to the next level in a way that if you teach a man how to teach himself, then theoretically he can do anything on his own. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to empower the kids of today to have for their futures. And this framework, that ideology, is deeply how do you call this integrated within our platforms. So technologies like smartphones, uh, apps, VR headsets. These are just material things, but uh, what we really provide to students is that framework of self-directed learning, that shift from pedagogy to what they call uh, heutagogy, which is again self-directed learning. And this is what schools should be considering right now. And I'm just sharing the uh, and if you go back to history, uh, when did uh, our modern educational system start? It all started during the first few industrial revolutions, where we developed these new technologies, these new advancements, and suddenly there was a need for particular skills. So with the rise of factories, similarly, we needed people to man those factories. And what happened uh, then is that the students, the kids, ended up being similarly mass produced by these school factories, where their directions, their learning directions are dictated upon by a central force, or that kind of invisible hand uh, that caters to the uh, demand of the general public. Pero that has downsides, so it has served us well, I think, subjectively in the for the past few industrial revolutions. But now in the fourth industrial revolution, we are having this challenge. No, so experts are saying that 7 out of 10 uh, students of today, 7 out of 10 students today will end up with jobs that don't exist yet. So if you think about that, that's so scary. Uh, how will they survive in those uncertain times if we don't uh, condition them to be ready for those uncertain times? If we don't prepare them to be self-directed learners. And again, going back to Harai Labs, what we're just doing with Harai Labs is we're providing the tools, the frameworks, the mindset of, of learning, so that the students of today and in the future can be more resilient in terms of the skill set required of them. And yeah,
Okay, so to build on that, Paulo, so the inspiration of Haraya Labs. So for everyone's information, Haraya Labs is a augmented reality platform that people or that students can access using their mobile phone in the comforts of their own home and experience things that they won't usually experience without the facilities of an actual school. So Paulo showed us a video earlier of like of this kid, or probably one of that's probably Paolo's playing the drum set, and then the students will have that opportunity to engage in that kind of technology in a virtual environment, you know, without really being in that space. And I think I what I want to ask Paolo is, how did you come up with this platform? I mean, what's the thought process behind developing a platform that would allow children to access experiments, instruments, uh, just using their mobile phones?
All right. This the thought process that went behind Harai Labs is deeply rooted in my educational journey, my learning journey, my personal learning journey. I have the privilege to have, uh, you can call it premium education, where I've been a scholar my whole life, and I've had access to all these tools uh, for experiential learning, and it has served me well so far in terms of my career in engineering and technopreneurship. And I, from there, again, looking back, if I pondered if I never received that kind of premium education, uh, I begin to, I'm it's just nice to think about where would I have been instead if I didn't have that kind of access. So going back to democratizing this type of learning, if only more students have access to these tools, then can only imagine how many more innovators, how many more uh, engineers, scientists, Filipinos, the Filipino students can have. And yeah, those a lot of it is anchored on the value and the power of experiential learning, and the promise that if we can provide this experiential learning to more kids in the Philippines, we hope to also have more aspiring scientists and engineers that can solve our country's problems.
Okay, and Paul, how available is this platform at the moment? You know, I know that it's still in beta testing, Haraya Labs, but um, are there schools or are there organizations that are already using this platform?
Right. So we have partner schools right now that use this, and as you said, we are beta testing this with the public right now with our uh, beta testers. And the admittedly, this COVID pandemic caught us off guard, so the development process has been delayed for a bit. But the process right now is we're still open to uh, beta testers. After finishing this round of beta testing, we can still receive the next batch of beta testers. And more than that, we are also looking for partner schools, for more partner schools that we can work with to co-ideate this platform, because it's a shared platform. So all our partner schools contribute in a way and use our platform, and this creates an ecosystem of partner schools where uh, each school makes the platform better by using it, by giving feedback, and this feedback is shared with our network of schools and teachers. And using this feedback, we continually uh, update and refine our modules so that it's an iterative process to be in short. Uh, and right now we're accepting more schools. We hope to have more partner schools.
Okay, and are you also? I think I've actually received a message from one of my friends who is a parent who would like to know if the platform will also if the platform will also be available to individuals, like for parents who would like to make the platform available to their kids. You know, it may not be directly from the school, but they can um subscribe to it, or whatever way they can access the platform, so that they can ask, or they can make it available to their students, their children who are not at school at the moment.
Right. Thank you for that. On top of our partner schools, we also cater to parents. Like I failed to mention earlier. Uh, in our beta tests, it's composed of teachers, of parents, of kids, and we hope to have more of the we hope to work more closely with the homeschooling community, the families, because in many ways they are early adopters of this self-directed learning framework, and by giving them more tools to empower their learning at home, we believe that we can help each other to help the collective learning improve together. Yeah, so yeah, parents, kids at home can use this. You just need to contact us, sign up for our early adopter and beta testing programs so that they can use it right now at home also.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually very interesting. And how do you plan to scale up the technology? Because um, I've I wasn't able to. I really wanted to beta test to be a beta tester, but it's at the moment it's only available for Android. But how do you plan to scale it up in a way that it tackles different subjects?
Right. Uh, so Harai Labs is just one of our platforms. We're
Mm.
building several. We're building a few platforms in parallel right now, and we haven't fully announced the other platforms. But we hope to have a network effect in these products as uh, more learners, more schools use these products separately. We hope to onboard them with network effects. And right, yes,
Okay, and Pa, we have a question here from Michelle Fernandez. How are you currently measuring your results with your current students?
right. So for Harai Labs, to be for Harai Labs specifically, each module is designed to have several components. The components of learning, and on top of just having a an activity for students to do on their smartphones, we have evaluation methods and assessment methods that are designed into the activity. And with technology, with a digital platform, digital medium, we can learn more about the learners as they play around with these activities. They can answer quizzes. They can answer pre-test and post-test evaluations, so that if, we can also monitor the effectivity of our platforms in terms of improving learning retention and the overall learning in students.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that, Pao. And I believe that Haraya Labs is just one of the projects of Haraya Learning Innovations, right?
Yes.
Okay, so in the past, what are the other projects that Haraya Learning Innovations had implemented?
Right. Uh, so Harai Labs is the first platform that we've started on. And one of the realizations that we've encountered is that you cannot teach everything with AR and VR. So that's one limitation. And that there's also this innovator's dilemma in where we have to accept that not all students can access what we're making, and uh, a you know an unintended effect of that is that uh, the inequality in terms of learning can be, we can we might be stretching this further, that inequality between learners, in a way that if we make online learning available, maybe those that can't access it may be left behind even more. So that realization helped us start our second platform, which is the Harai Academia. Harai Academia is a series of uh, enrichment programs, as we call it, and these are hopefully uh, in conjuncture with the uh, formal learning system. So schools can sign up to the academia program, even homeschooling parents and kids, so that they can learn uh, classes that aren't normally taught in school. So the past few months during this lockdown, we've already began prototyping these classes online, and we've uh, we've covered a wide variety of topics, which includes foreign language, Nihongo. We've also uh, covered music learning, robotics. We've also covered programming. So these are all classes and uh, programs that, yeah, like I've said, these are not mainstream classes yet, and so not all students get access to this type of specialized learning. So yeah, that's the second platform that we're working on right now, the academia classes, as we call them.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Pau. Because I think um, a lot of parents, if not adults like myself, would like to also try or get to experience the augmented reality. You know, augmented reality as a way of better inculcating education. And I think there's a study out there. It was mentioned in our previous conversation that it's actually more effective to do immersive learning as compared to just reading an actual book. Because at the moment, I think the new normal now is um, homeschooling. So students are don't have any other option but to just stay at home, self study, and attend a few online classes. And in our previous conversation, Bao, we talked about how immersive learning is more effective than just reading a traditional book, right?
Mhm. Uh, the way I see it, it can be dissected into the few elements. So there's hardware, there's software, and there's also courseware. So these components have to be designed uh, with learning in mind. And I think a lot of people are focusing too much on the hardware aspect of it all, the software aspect, the edtech aspect of it, and more people should be looking into the courseware design, because I may have told you that before, that smartphones work than books better, and I want to change that statement in that a well-designed book can be more effective than any kind of app that didn't take into consideration learners' needs. So again, these are all mediums, these are all media, and the learning design really is uh, what's important in ensuring the effectivity of learning. And given the the power of digital learning, uh, and by applying the our centuries worth of teaching design, learning design into that technology, we can completely scale the most effective learning methodologies with technology. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
very exciting. Hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree. It doesn't really matter what where you're getting it from. It's the way that the information is presented.
Hmm.
Did I understand you correctly?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And and more uh, on top of the way that it's presented, we have to we also have to evaluate why we are even learning in the first place. So we need to uh, ask students. We need students to be asking themselves why they are learning. Uh, to say quote from Socrates, he said before that I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. So even in the even millennia ago, it's already a thing that uh, self-directed learning is a quite powerful tool, and we've lost that kind type of scholarship in a way that uh, a lot of people, a lot of us have been conditioned in schools that we should be studying to get good grades. We need to be studying to get degrees and certificates. And on one hand, it's a good it it has been, it's a metric. Grades are a metric, but at the same time, it's not the be all and all uh, metric that we should be looking at. And if we just let schools and students appreciate that reality, I'm hoping and I'm very optimistic that we can get past this global crisis in education.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pao. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. The beta testing for Haraya Labs is still open, right?
Yes, we can. The current round is about to finish, but
Mm-hmm.
we expect to have many more rounds of this in the coming next months as we iterate on the platform. So as we finish this round of beta testing, we'll be doing further development, and public can expect us to open beta testing again in the next few weeks or months.
Okay, and I think Paolo and the team really needs your help, guys, to be part of it because it's as everyone is saying, it's the new normal, and it would really help if a lot of people get involved in the process of developing these kinds of technology, tech for
Mm.
good, and where can they actually go, Pao, so that they can be part of this?
Part of this discussion.
Yep.
Uh, so there, as a I don't know, there are many hats to this. If you're a teacher, if you're a uh, if you're an educator, there are a few communities that you can join, a few discussions that you can join. There are organizations uh, that hold these kinds of webinars to discuss the new normal of education. And in fact, that's keep that's keeping me busy these days. And just to give a shout out, uh, an org of mine, AGHAM Educators and AGHAM in general, AGHAM Educators and Computers Professional Union or CPU, they're having uh, discussion on online learning. This is a continuous process. This is a continuous webinar series that they're having that teachers can get involved in to discuss and bounce off ideas off each other to to come up with new alternatives, come up with solutions to what we're encountering right now. So yeah, there are a lot of ways to get involved right now. So that's for teachers and educators. For edtech developers, on the other hand, there are quite a few channels as well. So there are Facebook groups for uh, edtech startups here in the Philippines. You can also get in touch with us if you want, and we can talk more and find opportunities to collaborate and yeah, cooperate with each other. And yeah, I think you've covered all the ends. And for the students, on the other hand, there are a myriad of learning resources and materials that you can go through to explore the various learning methodologies right now.
Okay. Yeah, because I think the key here is getting as many people uh, as possible involved in the process, and not only teachers but also students, and also uh, ed tech practitioners. There's a lot of opportunities at the moment to work on this new technology, on this new normal. And also, guys, if you can also follow Haraya Learning Innovations on Facebook, so there you can collaborate with the team if you want to be a beta tester for the next phase of the project. And then you connect with them through their Facebook page. And if you have any question about this session, on how you want to get involved, and your insights and your inputs on how this can we can do it better, don't uh, feel free to comment, to leave a comment on the comment section of the video. And so this is an ongoing process, so it doesn't happen overnight. So it really requires the involvement of everyone, I think. And it's really good that Paolo, uh, being a believer of the democratization of education, that he's doing this for everyone. And any last words, Pao, before we end the session?
Right. It's good that you highlighted the power of working with each other because these are all tightly knit industries. Uh, I attended a discussion the other day on how all our problems right now, healthcare uh, and education, are closely linked. They're cogs in a wheel. They're gears in a clock in a way that for us to effectively solve the other, we need to also address this one. And it's very good right now that there are a lot of discussions from the government, from the private sector, also organizations on online learning, so we can come up with yeah a solution that serves everyone well in terms of uh, in the context here in the Philippines.
Okay, and again, it's all for the objective of keeping on to keep on learning, because despite the situation now, we always need to do that. And thank you so much, Pao, for taking the time to share your thoughts on the subject. And I think augmented reality it's a very interesting topic to talk about, especially during these times. And for those who have questions, we're not able to send it now. Feel free to comment on the comment section on this video. And also, you can send us a message on techph.org's Facebook page. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can just leave a comment as well. So thank you so much, Paolo Espiritu, for taking the time to share your thoughts on the subject. And we'll definitely hear from you again. And again, guys, Haraya Labs and Haraya Learning Innovations, you can go to their Facebook page if you want. If you're interested to be part of the beta testing, next phase of beta testing for this new platform.
All right. Thank you for having me as well, Luis. It's been a pleasure, and it's very good to share these thoughts with other people. And I hope my sharings have helped people that are listening to this right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Thank you so much, Pao, and have a great night. Thank you so much for spending your night with us.
All right. Take care, Luis. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye bye, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great day.